Hello YouTube artist, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. I wanted to share my progress on the 100-day project. I just finished her in my sketchbook and oh my gosh, did she turn out so cute. Are you ready? Look at the progress so far. Isn't that fun? And she was so delightful to do. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how I'm using random things and creating this little visual storytelling for 100 days. It is all about the things that I've collected, that I've found in nature and brought in, but it is really turning out to be such a pleasure working on it. So I'm going to share where I am in the journey and how it has made me look forward to painting every single day. I wanted to share the progress of my 100 days of random things. I am loving it. Let me just start there. These are the supplies that I've been mostly using so far 10 days in. So I've been really loving this Princeton Aqua Elite Long Round in the number 8. I like it because of its sharp point. Look at that point, isn't it beautiful? It is spoiling me rotten, let me just say that, because I no longer need a liner brush. I use this brush for everything now. So one brush that does it all, I'm all about that. My new palette, I shared my new studio palette with you in a separate video, and I have to say it's working out really great. So far I've used every color, and I wanted to share the big color mixing chart with you so you could see the possibilities of these 18 colors. Look at these colors. Aren't they gorgeous? I am having so much fun. Like as I pull out an object to paint, I go through and I'm like, what color do I want to play with? What color do I want to explore? And you can see there's just so many beautiful tones on here that I'm having a lot of fun. And isn't that what a 100-day project is meant to do, right? Not be torture, but fun and excitement and delight, and it makes me smile. Looking at it makes me smile, thinking about it makes me smile, picking colors makes me smile. It's just really fabulous. So I thought I would share that with you. And then I want to share some of my subjects. I started my project with this leaf here because aren't these the ugliest leaves ever? Of course, that's why I love them, and that's why I picked them up, because I just love the weird shape of them. I mean, have you ever seen a leaf that's the top, right? I mean, it should be going straight, and look how wonky they are. I love that. And of course, I love the aspect of the hand. Look at these little like hands in here. I just think that that's really fun. I think as a child, if I had seen this on my window, like the hand shadows, I would have been freaked out, but I would have been intrigued nonetheless. So I just really love those. You can see me paint that with you on day one. As I add things, I'm gonna pull them out because it's actual things. I'm using a concertina sketchbook, which means it just keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding, which is why I absolutely love this, because it's 70 pages, so 35 front and 35 back, and I'm hoping to see how far my 100 days go, but I know I will definitely fill this up because I am just so enjoying the process right now. So let me show you page 1. This was my title page. So this was the leaf that we painted together. And then day 2 was this little fox. I have him. Look how cute he is. He's just a little like miniatures that I found in like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. But I really liked the shape of him and I thought he would look great. I did him this way so that he was pointing in that direction. I have a tag here. My favorite number is 2 because of John and I. There's just 2 of us, so I use 2s a lot. And this was the tag. You can see I just laid it down and traced right around it. And then I stuck a little leaf going through it so that this would connect to the next page. So far that's 1, 2, 3. Look at you guys. So 4 is this pencil here and the circle. So this is my pencil. I just shortened it because I didn't want something this long taking up that much of my page. because look how many things I could have set on top of it, and I just felt like it was too long, so I shortened it and just made it go to there. But then I thought, oh, let's add a circle there because that's kind of interesting. And instead of doing a blue lead like this one has, I put a regular graphite lead on it. But I really liked it. And I balanced it in the middle of the page so that I could hang something down under it, but I could also put something above it. So that was 4. Number 5 is her. Is she not the cutest? When I saw this little bird, I just knew that she would be in my sketchbooks more than once, I'm sure. But I loved her. I picked her up at a vintage shop and she just made me smile. So I brought her home and there she is. You can see the colors are a little different, but I made her nice and splashy and I just really like how she turned out. Six was the beehive here, and I have a little beehive. This is made by my friend Barb Jones. Look how sweet. I just really loved all the like little, they look like pancakes to me in the beehive, and the little bee up there, isn't it sweet? I am going to add the little bees. I just haven't decided where I want them yet. So there's just going to be little swarm flying. I don't know how far I want to put them. I do know I want them tangled up inside the leaves here, maybe a couple up here. But I thought that that would look kind of nice. And then we have number 7, which is this, which is just a vintage piece of paper where I decided to do a color swatching session on it, right? So I took 2 colors, which was Titan Buff and Joyce's Mother Green, and made the colors. So this was more Titan Buff. I kept adding the green and more green as I went down, giving me these lovely shades. So that was number 7. Then number 8 were these beautiful leaves. These are the leaves for that. Aren't they sweet? I just liked all the really weird shapes. See how some are round, but then some have points. Like that has points, but the rest of these are kind of round. That one has a point. I just really liked the cluster, and I liked that they were compact and overlapping and just different shapes for me. Normally I tend to pull up the more oak leaves, so when I found these, I just really liked the shape that they did, and I let them kind of fill the whole page because they felt voluminous to me. And I'm starting to get a little bolder. You can see as I went here that I picked up, I liked this color here, which had a little more orange. So I decided to just pull a little more orange and make it a little brighter on this page. You can see I'm kind of starting off dull and kind of building my colors as I go. So that was number 8. Number 9 here is this charm. It's just a little charm with some words and some spots in it there. You can see it a little better there. So I just like the fact that it was dangling, and I put my word for the year in there. My word for the year is stories. Let me bring that up close so you can see it. See the word stories in there? You can see that everything is connecting to me. It's the things that I love, the things that I collect, the random things that bring me joy. And tucking in like the word stories, that's really exciting for me because as I go through this, think about going through this 3 years from now and remembering, oh, this is from 2024. I wonder what was piquing my interest or what I was really into or what my word of the year was, what my favorite number was, what colors I was using. You know, that changes and morphs over time, so I'm really excited to see that. Number 10, I didn't have a lot of time, but when I did this little section for the color swatches, I knew I wanted something tall up here. But what I was having problems with is anything I put up here was the same size as her. See the top? But if I went too large, it looked kind of awkward. So when I was digging through my stash, I found a little dice, or die, I guess, and it fit perfectly up there. I just loved the size of it, and I liked that it was white on white. So you can see you really don't notice it. All you really notice is the little dot from the one. And I have an actual dice like that where the dot is off center, and so I just decided to include that here. As you see, I am thinking about design as I go. I wanted you to see my painted items first, so now I can talk to you a little bit more about design. So as I was thinking about design, I put the one leaf here because I knew that it would put me in the right trajectory, right? It's taking away from my title, it's kind of leading you into the pages. And then I wanted something similar to color, but nothing too large. And I left room specifically down here to tuck something in. I wasn't sure what. At first I was thinking about a long paintbrush, connecting that all the way over, but it was just too long of a line and I didn't like it. I wanted something smaller. So when I found the fox, he was perfect. He was the right color. I could point him in that direction. You'll notice that he sticks out just a little bit further than the leaf. So the leaf comes down to about right there. So if you're looking, he kind of gives you the nudge forward. That's how I'm looking at that little element of design here. And then everything right now is feeling very circular and off kilter. I need some straight lines. My degree is in architectural rendering, so I love straight lines. And I was feeling a little unfocused here with all of these weird shaped things going on. So I had to put that tag in there. And when I put the tag in there, I took like a heavy breath, like, okay, I feel better now. And I know that sounds weird, but I have to have straight lines. Otherwise, I start to get really, it's almost like a nervous feeling, like I'm jumpy, right? Because I don't have anything to really ground me. And you'll see throughout, like just simple straight lines just add a nice little effect for myself. And by tucking in the little leaf up here, I just liked that nature was there and it showed the hole really well. And I carried it over to the edge here so that you could see it just poking out, but it also breaks the page. So you can see that's where the page folds. So that little bit comes forward. And I like that. I mean, that's the concertina book, right? You want it to kind of pull your focus forward. And then as I was going through that number 3, I was on to number 4. And like I said before, I had the pencil. And I really liked this shape. Again, I needed another sharp point. I needed another straight line. And I knew I didn't want something heavy like that, but this is nice and straight. It gets my point across. But as I put it here, I tried it over here first, but I didn't like how they kind of interacted here. It kind of made a weird design down here. So I put it here and then I thought about, well, what if I added a circle? That will add softness. It will also connect to these big zeros here, because look how round those are. And then that round shape there. And I don't have to put anything in it. So I just actually left it like a graphite line. It's done with paint, but I like that it goes in and out. From there, I knew I wanted something above and below. I wanted something up here. You can see that I was just laying things out like this, and I liked her, but she was way too big for the page. So I just took her, draw her, and kind of shrunk her down to where I liked it. I liked that the point was, see the leaf kind of points right over her head, and I like that we're up here. You can see it kind of bounces here and kind of cuts it off. So this way it gives it a nice airspace. I mean, look at all that air up there, and I think that that's really pretty. And then hanging the beehive down here, again, I struggled as to what to add down here. I have a lot of round charms, but I didn't like the idea of the round here, the round 0, this round, and then this round. So this kind of shape was perfect. It's kind of round, but it's kind of not. And then I had to have another straight box for myself because I just like the idea of these butting up to a hard edge, because it kind of makes you focus on this little still life right here. Look what that does is it frames it here and it frames it here, and it kind of brings your attention to those 3 items. Had I left this, I was at first just going to do the 3 squares, but I've been playing with vintage paper and watercolor, and that's what I wanted this to remind me of. I actually even have little blue lines in there. See if you can see those on camera. See the little blue lines like a notebook? And those I just did with my pencil here because I just happened to have a blue line pencil, which was great. But that way, that is what represents the vintage paper for me. And I really just love the way that that went. And then number 8 was this big guy. And as I was looking through here for all my pages, I'm like, what am I missing? Right? It's looking really nice. The flow is very beautiful, but I'm missing that big impact piece. You can see it's all little things that are really great together and they tell a little story, but I wanted something a little more concrete. So by that, I knew I wanted something that would take up the page, but not feel real heavy. And when I remembered that I had these leaves, I was like, that would be perfect, because look at all the white space and all the interest that it has in between all of the leaves. There's like a little giant cluster at the top, but then you've got all this little stuff, and it just adds a little delicateness to it that I really, really like. I like the heavy at the top, but then I also went bolder in color, because you can see right now it's kind of just muted. It's getting a little stronger where I added like the more indigo down here. I've got a little brighter blue, but I knew I really wanted to add an orange, and that's the orange and Naples yellow. It's the orange and my hematite violet genuine, and I just had fun playing with the colors. And I left the stem here very thin because, again, I wanted it to be a line. So think about, I've got a line, a line, a line, a line, and then a bigger line here, a real tall, skinny line. And I like that. It's dark, but it's not too dark. It doesn't really fight for attention like with the body of this bird. And then when I was thinking of what else I could do under here, you know, I was going to do like a little postage stamp, but it was almost the same size as that. And I didn't want to have something here and something here. It would create a band down here, and I didn't want that. So then when I saw this little charm, I was like, that would be perfect. I could just hang it off of this little branch here. It's, again, round, so it's bringing back the round shape, because you'll notice I don't really have any round shapes here. But here I had two rounds, round, 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 and then I was kind of missing rounds. Yes, these are rounds, but they don't really look like round shapes because that is making a giant shape in itself. So until you come close, you're not noticing all the different shapes. So by having that little round area there, I just really, really loved how it kind of tucked in. I made the color not really stand out. I made it the same color as the little beehive here, and a mixture of some of these leaves in the brown, so that you kind of discovered it. You're like, what is that on that leaf? And that's what I like. And then from there, it just went to that little dice. And I like that the dice is hidden. It kind of does not gain your attention, but yet it's there. And I collect all kinds of game pieces, so the little dice is just really, it's charming. It just makes me smile. So that is what my 100-day project looks like, and I am just really loving it. I love that I can just flip the page. Look how fun. And that's already 10 days, just that little bitty flip. I just think it's such a beautiful little book, and I cannot wait to have more pages filled and created in and inspired by, right? The random things are endless here, so I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. I hope you liked today's commentary, explaining my design process, but also showing you the things that I'm using for my random things. If you were inspired by today's content, please like, comment, or subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And thanks so much for watching.